While tidying up the garage one uneventful Saturday morning, I stumbled upon something that would change my life forever. My wife, Maria, had taken our 7-year-old son, Tommy, to visit her sister for the weekend. Alone, I figured it was the perfect time to sort through the clutter that had built up over the years. Buried behind old holiday decorations and camping supplies, I discovered a manila envelope that seemed out of place. Inside was a legally stamped paternity test dated 6 months ago, confirming that I wasn't Tommy's biological father. I stood frozen, staring at the document, unable to make sense of it. I'd always believed Tommy was mine. People constantly remarked on how much he resembled me, and Maria would beam and say, "Of course he is." But this paper told a different story. When Maria and Tommy returned Sunday evening, I waited until Tommy had gone to bed. I didn't speak at first, just handed her the envelope. Her face drained of color, then flushed with anger. "You had no right to go through my personal things," she snapped. I couldn't believe her audacity. I finally spoke, calm but cold, "And you had no right to let me raise another man's child for 7 years. She tried to grab the test from my hands. After a short struggle, I let her take it. She tore it into pieces and hurled them in my face. "It doesn't matter," she shouted. "Tommy is your son. You raised him." I turned and walked away, silent. I didn't yell, didn't ask for details. I didn't need to. The truth was all laid out in that torn paper. By Monday morning, I was on the phone with my lawyer, a man I'd worked with for years on real estate deals. "I need to separate everything, house, accounts, all of it," I said. "Make it legal." He promised a plan within 72 hours and warned me not to act rashly. Those 3 days were unbearable. I kept up the appearance of normalcy, went to work, shared meals with Maria and Tommy, but quietly prepared. I copied the shredded test results and stored them at my office. By Thursday, the legal plan was ready. The house was the biggest hurdle. Maria would need to refinance or agree to sell within a month. Our bank accounts would be formally split in half, and notices would be sent to all financial institutions. The next day, I took action. I withdrew exactly $14,000, my half of our $28,000 savings, and left a letter from my lawyer about the divorce. I contacted the credit card companies, informed them of our pending separation, and documented every step. My truck was in my name, no issue there. Her SUV was in hers, but I had co-signed. That too would be sorted later. That same Friday, I filed for divorce on grounds of irreconcilable differences stemming from fraudulent misrepresentation. My lawyer warned the case could get messy since I'd acted as Tommy's father legally. On Saturday, I moved into my friend Mike's spare room and left Maria a note. "I know about Tommy. I've hired a lawyer. From now on, all communication goes through him." Maria was served divorce papers at work the following Monday. I'd included a request for court-ordered paternity testing and asset protection based on fraud. That day, she called me repeatedly. I didn't answer. That evening, she showed up at Mike's. I stayed behind the door when she pleaded, "Think about Tommy." I responded only through my lawyer. No contact until a new DNA test is done. By Tuesday, we filed a motion to freeze all significant financial transactions during the divorce. The court approved. On Wednesday, Maria attempted to withdraw $5,000 from our account and was blocked. Only essential spending was allowed. The bank referred her to the court order. Thursday, she showed up at my office. Security had been briefed, and she was escorted out when she caused a scene. "You're destroying our family over a piece of paper," she screamed. That night, her mother called me. "Maria says you're doubting Tommy's parentage," she said. I replied, "If she agrees to a court-ordered DNA test and I'm wrong, I'll apologize publicly and cover all legal costs." She had no reply. That Friday, Maria finally agreed to the DNA test through her attorney. We were told to expect results in 7 to 10 business days. The following Monday, I filed to remove my name from the house deed. Maria would have to refinance the mortgage in her name or sell within 60 days. Her salary as a teacher wouldn't be enough. 2 weeks later, the test results arrived. I wasn't Tommy's biological father. My lawyer immediately pushed to finalize the divorce. No alimony, no child support, citing paternity fraud. We also filed for annulment due to the deception. Maria's lawyer tried to argue that I'd been a father figure for 7 years and couldn't just walk away. But the facts were clear, and I was already gone. I argued I shouldn't be held responsible for child support because the entire relationship had been built on a lie. I hadn't been misled by accident. I had been actively deceived into believing I was the father when we got to court. I brought the paternity test Maria had torn up 6 months prior, proving she'd known the truth and kept it hidden. Her lawyer had no real defense. The judge agreed, stating Maria had committed marital fraud by misrepresenting the child's paternity. My financial obligations were terminated, except for the joint debts that existed before the deception was uncovered. The judge ordered the house to be sold. We were to split the proceeds, but I received an extra 20% because I covered the full down payment from a business sale 3 years earlier. Maria tried to fight the ruling, but failed. The judge was clear. 7 years of deception is not something this court can enforce obligations upon. 3 weeks after the DNA test results came out, reality hit Maria hard. She couldn't qualify for a mortgage on her own and had to put the house up for sale. She moved into a weekly rate motel. Her car loan also became a problem since the divorce affected the loan agreement. The bank demanded full repayment or refinancing, with no one willing to co-sign. She couldn't keep up. 2 months later, after missing 3 payments due to legal fees, her car was repossessed. She started taking the bus, then relied on coworkers for rides, until that wore thin. Eventually, she moved back in with her parents, but that ended badly too. A heated argument broke out when they learned she had known the child might not be mine for years and told no one. After being kicked out, she briefly stayed with her sister, but that didn't last either. With nowhere else to go, Maria started living in her SUV, parked in lots, until it too was repossessed. She bounced between friends' couches until even that stopped being an option. 6 months after the truth came out, she had a modest studio apartment across town and worked in a different school district for lower pay. Meanwhile, Tommy's biological father began paying child support after the DNA results were confirmed, but it wasn't enough to support her previous standard of living. My lawyer negotiated a unique arrangement that let me stay in Tommy's life if we both wanted it. I set up a college fund in his name through my lawyer, ensuring Maria couldn't access it. Tommy began calling me Uncle Jacob during our weekly dinners and weekend visits when his biological dad was out of town. Our relationship changed, but stayed genuine. We explained to him that families sometimes look different, and I would always be someone who loved him. A year later, I testified against Maria in court when Tommy's real father sued her for unpaid child support from all the years he didn't know he was a father. If I'd known, he told the court, I would have been there from day one. She lost the case. The judge ordered 7 years of back payments to be deducted directly from her wages. I eventually sold my share of the house and bought a condo. I started dating again and met Sarah, a small business owner who valued honesty above all else. The last time I saw Maria was at Tommy's school play. She looked drained, probably from working overtime to make ends meet. She didn't look at me during the performance, but when Tommy ran up to me after, excited and proud, Maria finally glanced my way. For a brief moment, I saw regret in her eyes. But regret can't fix what's been broken. Her lie didn't just end our marriage. It shattered her trustworthiness, her finances, and the parenting bond we could have had. She chose to lie, and she paid the price. I have no regrets. A year after that, Tommy, now 8, still spends every Wednesday afternoon with me. I pick him up from school with written permission from both the court and Maria. We eat burgers, do homework, play video games. When his dad travels, Tommy stays with me on alternate weekends. Things feel easier now with no secrets hanging over us. I actually enjoy our time together more. He's bright, funny, and loves baseball just like I do. Maria's life kept getting harder. 6 months after our divorce was final, Tommy's real father lost his job as a private school administrator, so the court adjusted child support, dropped by 40%, though the garnishments for the unpaid years continued. To keep up, Maria began working weekend shifts as a diner waitress, something she never would have imagined doing before. Her new teaching job paid less, and with the garnished wages, She struggled to get by. 3 months ago, she showed up at my door. Sarah was out with her kids. So I answered. "Jacob, I need help," she said. "My car needs a $3,000 transmission. I'm asking for a loan, not a gift." I looked at the woman who lied to me for years, who tried to drag me through court when I sought the truth, who watched everything fall apart because of her own choices. I told her, "No, I paid my dues to you and Tommy," I said. Her face tightened. "I figured you'd say that," she replied, then walked away. Last month, Maria remarried. Ironically, her new husband is Tommy's third-grade teacher, someone who had supported her through everything. He seems like a decent guy from the few times I've seen him at parent-teacher events. Maybe he's exactly what she needs, someone who knows her full history and chose her anyway. As for me, life has improved. Sarah and I moved in together 6 months ago. Her teenage kids welcome me easily, with none of the baggage that comes with raising younger children. We're getting married next month, just a small gathering with close friends and family. I still see Maria at school functions. We exchange polite hellos for Tommy's sake, but that's it. The mess is behind us now. She learned too late that the truth might be painful, but lies can cost everything. Tommy made me a Father's Day card recently. He drew 3 stick figures and labeled them "My 2 dads and mom." That's our new version of a family. Not what any of us expected, but built honestly and with love. Maria could have had that too. She chose differently. And now she's living with what that choice was worth. Everything. I sleep soundly knowing I never sought revenge. Only truth. And in the end, that truth set all of us free.